Thank you for coming to my channel, Compass Starlight. I channeled a message the other day that I had to assess, and I wrote it down, and I'm going to go through it after I read it to kind of pick it apart. I like to write stories. I like to tell stories. So this is you take it from the perspective of a story. And as I said, I'll pick it apart. So, you won't last a day in this house. Yeah, you don't even know where I live, bro. And it's funny because it doesn't even compare to that feeling of safety. That is home. Play all over the world. Where are we going? It doesn't matter because it's with you. On a personal level, it's just mine. You came up to a solution to the problem which necessitated it. That's it. That's the message. So, you won't last a day in this house is like an angry threat. But if it's being said to somebody who has lived through so many horrendous situations, lasting a day in this house, lasting a day in this house doesn't even compare, because by default, the person hearing that message, the recipient of that message, of that threat, has endured so much nonsense, pain, struggle, that living in this house is a cakewalk. And that's why it's funny. If you found a situation has been wearing you down, some kind of circumstance that is a consistent occurrence in your life, if it's a work environment or a home environment that is just so uncomfortable, and you have an opportunity to try something new, go for it. Chances are that whatever new thing that you could encounter is going to be so much better than what you have dealt with or endured in the past. And that's why it doesn't even compare. But there's also this feeling of safety. What feels like home? Whatever it is that feels like home. It's in the heart. It's in the heart space. And if it's something you can share with somebody else, go to that person. But if it's entirely within you, you always have that feeling of safety and home within you. And it doesn't really matter what kind of circumstance you find yourself engaged in, wrapped up in, surrounded with dangling participles drive me crazy. I'm just trying to think of another way to say that. It's like, the point being, no matter where you find yourself in this world, no matter what situation you have to confront, as long as you know what that feeling of safety is like, as long as you know what that feeling of home is like, you are adaptable. You can go anywhere. You can do anything. You can be anything. And you don't need to cling. You don't need the attachments of certain places or certain people to get you through. You have it within yourself. And in that sense, you can play all over the world. So, where are you going? What are you going to try? What is the new endeavor? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't really matter with whom, as long as they're in alignment with your energy. And in that case, if you found a group of people with whom to surround yourself, it doesn't matter where you go as long as that feels like home. It's with you. It's with you. On a personal note, that's just mine. It is, for me, my home space, my safety, it is just mine. Nobody else can touch it. I could have a conversation with a critical elder, and I know that I have that within myself. And if you can find your confidence to know yourself and to know what that feeling of safety is like, that feeling of home, it doesn't matter what anybody else says to you. It can't change that feeling you have in your heart space. You came up to a solution to the problem which necessitated it. That could be anything. You could have created a problem. You could have created a situation, a living situation, for example, that became very uncomfortable. Who created that discomfort? It just wasn't in alignment with you. And then you come up with a solution to that problem which necessitated it. Did you create it, the problem? And then you came up with a solution. Is it a relationship? Is it a relationship that you just had difficulty balancing with? If you can't balance with a certain person and you find it difficult to center yourself and you get really emotional, I'm leaving. Well, that's the solution to the problem which necessitated it. If you're uncomfortable in your work environment, if you're not happy with your job, if you're finding it doesn't bring you joy, that joy comes from within. But if you're unable to balance that relationship between your work environment and yourself, it's time to come up with a solution to the problem which necessitated it. So good luck. I don't mean that sarcastically. There's always a solution to a problem. And it's up to you to take care of yourself, to take responsibility for your freedom and for your happiness. It's also up to you to find that feeling of home and safety within and that balance, and to keep yourself balanced. There's always going to be a little bit of there are always swells on the ocean, but you don't have to let them get too big. What are you moving towards? Make it something that will last. Make it something that is in alignment with whatever it is that makes you feel safe and whatever feels like home. Thank you for coming to my channel, Compass Starlight. Be well.